Welcome all. Good morning to one and all. This is Vivek. I am the co-founder and chief data scientist with CellStrat. So we are an AI startup incorporated in US, Delaware, with the founding team in India. I am Vivek. I am the co-founder based in Bengaluru, and my colleague Vishal is based in Delhi NCR. So let's get going here. So today's topic of discussion is how to use AI-based recommenders to increase sales by 100 to 200%. So that statement we don't take lightly, and it indeed these kind of technologies like retail recommender or social commerce recommender systems can increase the sales by many multitudes of order, right? So that's why we are we can go on a limb and make that claim, and I'll showcase that to you with a couple of enterprise projects we are working on. Okay, so again, welcome to one and all. This is Vivek, and we'll discuss how to use AI-based recommenders for increasing, sales or sales conversion by, doubling or tripling of sales, literally with help of recommender solutions, right? And we are seeing that with our customer projects. So, any questions or comments before we get started? Okay, so kindly do share your name and email, name and phone number in the chat, so we can have a bit of an attendance and sort of registration into this webinar. And of course, you can reach out to us anytime offline as well for discussing, enterprise AI adoption, right, and innovation. So let's get going. I'll be sharing my screen and begins with some use cases, which is of high interest. Okay, so there you go. So you can see my screen now. Recording is on. So let me start with some use cases which we have seen while working for enterprise clients, right? And we'll discuss how AI-based recommenders are helping enterprises drive immense growth in sales. Let me increase the volume here. I hope you can hear me fine. If you face any logistical issue, do let me know. Let's keep it interactive. Let's discuss rather than one-sided lecture. Let's discuss. And as requested, kindly do share your name and mobile number in the chat, if you will, so that we have your attendance record in this webinar. And this is one of our first AI for business leaders, workshop series, and we'll be doing series of them, given our focus on enterprise now. So a bit of history about my company. So I run CellStrat, which is an AI platform startup with a platform called CellStratHub.com. We started with a training and developer tools and community focus. This year in 22, we have basically started discussing, developing a lot of solutions for enterprise clients. And we do have a client roster of more than 50 clients right now with whom we are starting AI projects. So that's where we are. We see a massive demand for, enterprise AI adoption. And we believe an inflection point is coming in 1 to 2 years when an AI solution will become as fundamental as a website, and no company will be able to, sort of avoid, an AI disruption. So, and that is why we see massive interest from companies who are saying, okay, let's discuss AI and how it can develop. And I'll tell you the primary challenge our enterprises are facing with AI adoption. It is obviously the learning and the skilling part of it and understanding AI use cases, because it's a complicated technology, as you know. But bigger than that is the fact that there is no talent for AI development available. So we in CellStrat, we are serving AI as a service through API strategy, right? So we are focused on developing a growing suite of APIs which can service enterprise AI use cases, and we are getting ready for a AI revolution, literally a massive inflection point where we believe that AI will become as fundamental as a internet strategy or mobile app. And that is what all of us here are prepping up for, and that is probably the reason you have joined this webinar as well, right? So being from the business leadership community, we have done more than 500 technical AI webinars, but this year, given our enterprise focus, we are presenting or beginning to present a series of rich AI content for business leaders, whether it be blogs and a webinar series starting with this one today. So let me come back to the topic for today, AI-based recommenders. Feel free to stop me or ask me any questions because obviously we want to keep it interactive and not really have a one-sided lecture phenomena. So let me show you some case studies in AI-based recommenders. And before that, let's try to define, what is a recommendation solution so that we are all on the same page. So in case you don't know what is a recommender solution, let me just briefly define it to you before I move forward. I've already given an intro on my company, so I'll skip this. I can see folks are still joining. So our goal is to create, very, very powerful and engaging business leadership content in artificial intelligence, because while talking to more than 50 enterprises at the moment, the common challenge seems to be understanding of AI, the AI use cases, and how to really operationalize it for business benefit. That is where the industry has sort of slowed down, if you will, because there is no talent available and companies are having a uphill task in understanding AI and its disruptive capability. And that is what we are setting out to do, to help companies understand AI and basically deploy it using an easy to deploy, a low code, no code AI platform, which we have developed now. So let me just get the basic definition out of the way, and then we'll see some AI use cases. Feel free to ask me questions or stop me. Let's keep it a discussion, a brainstorming session, rather than a one-way webinar. We have information glut, right? And social commerce, online commerce is proliferating. Some of the data points are provided here. Quintillion bytes, right? And 1.8 billion websites. And this figure is like increasing rapidly every single day. 571 new websites created every minute, and massive amounts of video and audio proliferating now, right? So video is the new text which is coming up, and then so how do you service your audience? If you are a business or industry, how do you service your audience with personalized content, right? Or how do you deal with cold start situations when you get new customers visiting your website or mobile app? How do you engage them and service content which they are likely to consume? Netflix and Prime Video have armies of PhDs trying to service or try to showcase content you are likely to consume, whether it be movies, music, and whatnot. And whether it is an e-commerce site or grocery tech company or insurance products or banking products, right? So banks are struggling with what products customers are likely to purchase, how to do cross-sell and upsell. So this is where the recommendation algorithms play a role. They allow or suggest or propose the best course of action, and they are based on variety of algorithms. We'll see a bit of that. This tech session is not meant to be technical. It is meant to be addressed to business users, right? So they can at least start discussing recommendation solutions. So recommendation is going from expert to opinion based, right? So social media and influencer commerce is rising. So recommendation is obviously evolving with these new formats like influencer commerce, creator commerce, right? And then public opinion based recommendations. Companies like Amazon, Flipkart, they have a massive long tail of products, right? That is the theory of e-commerce, that it can service millions of products. But the problem is 10%, 20% of products in e-commerce drive 80-90% of sales. So how do you sell unpopular products and other vendors who are not getting sales, right? So it is a complex mix of what you want to sell plus what the users will be willing to buy for. It's a trade-off, if you will. So supply side, demand side has to be balanced. And obviously there is Google search and all, but now it is also about social commerce, what your friends and influencers may be proposing. So anyway, so recommendation system is basically based on personalized and non-personalized recommendations. Uh, so you have to show ads where customers are likely to convert, and then it can be season based, what season it is in, winter or festival season, whatnot, based on time, right? Based on geography, which geography your website is being opened in, right? And weekend versus weekday. So there are a lot of factors which go into personal and non-personal recommendations. Of course, there is user social commerce happening, with users are rating and commenting on your product, so that can drive recommendations. Amazon has a pretty sophisticated user review system, and based on that, they recommend or don't recommend products. So there are a variety of factors which go on recommending products on an e-commerce site, OTT website, a banking website, or automotive or grocery website, or what have you. So it can be contextual, or it could be personalized, non-personalized, semi-personalized. Or when a user is coming to your website for the first time, you don't have history on that user. In that case, you'll have to work with a cold start situation, as we call it, right? In that case, we may be dealing with opinions and aggregate opinion based recommendations. So of course there can be expert advice, but now people are buying based on social experiences or public opinion, and experts are less preferred, but the new class of influencers are emerging rather than the old style experts. So I'm kind of just cursing through some of this content. Feel free to stop me. The goal is not to discuss in each and every bullet point here in great detail. I would rather show you some real life use cases which we are working on, and then we can discuss how you might look at recommender systems for driving sales conversion. So I'm just cursing some of these slides, not trying to cover this extensive content line by line. Okay, so now this is an anatomy of a life cycle of a recommender system. So you want to sell something, you get data, then you apply algorithms, and then you do testing whether your algorithm, your model is servicing the right kind of products and content to your consumer. Then you test on real users, and then if you see good, you do a lot of A/B testing, if you will, and if you see good conversion, you can deploy it for the larger masses, right? So anyway, so I'll just come back to the use cases where I wanted to go with. So I hope the definition of recommender is out of the way. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me now about what is a recommendation system. I hope you understood at least what is a recommendation system. A recommendation system is a solution which personalizes or tries to personalize products which users are likely to buy, both for cold start and hot customers. By hot customers, I mean customers who are logged in and whose profile you already have. By cold start customers, I mean folks who are not logged in and whose profile you don't have. And these tech algorithms are possible, obviously, in an online or technological digital commerce environment. In a store, there are also recommender systems coming in a store. They are based on some other techniques, because you don't have user profile for a customer who walks into the store unless you are doing geofencing and you are intercepting and detecting the user in your store, a pre-registered user, and then from their mobile app signal or something. Or nowadays they are using emotion detection of consumers walking in a store to try to detect which product the customer is liking or not liking, right? And you can do intervention by sending a sales staff to talk to that person whichever shelf they are at. So I mean, there are other kinds of recommendation techniques which are in a store or physical retail environment, but online and social commerce, you do have much more power in terms of their click traffic and their order history and whatnot, right? Any questions about what are recommender systems?
Vivek?
Yes.
I'm Professor Suresh. Just want to mention here that when we are having the experience of these recommender systems, when we go to Amazon, Flipkart, or any other portals where we go on shopping, one thing which I observed is that they keep on suggesting us based on our behavior on the portal, but at the same time, they are not brand conscious. That most of the products, if I'm buying those of Apple, they don't show just Apple products. They show similar products, maybe other brands. So normally, a person who is brand oriented doesn't go for other brands, even if that particular device or gadget is interesting. So this particular thing I've seen across that no recommender system recommends a specific brand of something which you are looking for, but they show different different brands, not the same brand which you are preferring. So this is something we have observed across the board. Is there any specific reason that they don't focus on the brand but only on the things which you are looking for?
So there are lots of factors to a fair question. There are lots of factors to this, Dr. Suresh. So one is whether you are logged into a portal. Let's say you are logged into an e-commerce website with your account, and an e-commerce website can prospect your purchase history. So at that time, if you have been buying, let's say, only Apple, based products and electronics, and then in that case, if the recommendation algorithm is sophisticated enough, it will be able to detect or predict, oh, this customer only buys Apple products or predominantly Apple products, and it will automatically show that brand. But if you are not logged in, and or the user transaction history doesn't exist, at that time it will show the popular brands, right? So it will not be able to guess that you are an Apple fan, right? So like that. So it depends on variety of factors and situations. And the fact is, very few online websites or apps have deployed recommenders yet. It is an under-penetrated area because of the reasons we discussed in the beginning. It's a complex algorithmic domain, and companies are still trying to get their head around it, and talent is in short supply. So you don't really have those world-class recommenders deployed as of yet. Maybe Amazon, Flipkart, Netflix have done more work in this space, but even they fail to address cold start situation where they don't have a history on that audience, right? So these are some of the points why you don't see what you want to see, like for example, Apple products primarily.
Does these recommender systems also work based on the cookies?
Yes. So cookies can be used. So let's say I have been tracking the iPhone 14, the new iPhone 14 on multiple websites. So lots of cookies are already stored on my computer, and or in the Java word we used to call it JSession cookie, and then those cookies are definitely being used unless you are running the privacy mode on your browser. But definitely they are using every possible technique, or at least are trying to use going forward. But indeed, most of the websites and internet is not so sophisticated yet on recommender. Maybe Amazon, Flipkart, Netflix, the biggest of the tech portals are probably famous for that, but even they have not really cracked the cold start situation very well. I'll give you personal experience. So if I'm not logged into Netflix shows me all kinds of movies which I have no interest in, right? So even they have not really cracked how to deal with a cold start customer who's not logged in. But if I'm logged in, then Netflix shows me pretty well what movies I'm likely to check out. So it is still an upcoming area, and there is huge innovation happening. We started with rules-based recommenders, then we went to machine learning-based recommenders, and now deep learning-based recommenders are emerging. And so it is getting more and more sophisticated, and there'll be a lot of multimodal learning going forward with the new algorithms like the diffusion models or computer vision-based, aspects, NLP-based aspects. So there will be multimodal learning around recommenders as well, and not just classic recommender algorithms. Any other questions on comments on introduction to recommenders? And we'll keep deep diving further.
Good morning, Mr. Vivek.
Hello.
Yeah, hi, Mustafa here.
Hi, Mustafa.
My question, I just wanted to understand here on this CellStrat.
Yes.
This your company, what you're discussing, is this a ready product as such, or it's a kind of service which adds up to an existing e-commerce or site like that? And just wanted a clarity on that.
Sure, fair question. So let me address that particular question. So what Mr. Mustafa is asking is about, a sort of a ready-made product versus service kind of scenario. So let me clearly give an answer to that. It's a hybrid situation. Creating a generalized AI solution is still a bit far away, right? With GPT-3 and diffusion models, the latest algos from some of these world-class AI labs like OpenAI, they or DeepMind from Google, they are trying to create generalized AI solutions with GPT-3 and vision models. But so far, there's no generalized artificial intelligence. So one customer's recommender will not service another's customer's recommender off the bat. It always needs, incremental machine learning. So that's why we call it a low-code jumpstart platform. It's not really purely no-code. It does need some custom work or incremental machine learning, as we call it. So that said, our platform is, we call it as a low-code, no-code AI platform. It allows you to do jumpstart development, but indeed, a ready-made product for a generalized recommender solution doesn't exist in the world yet. It always needs some custom work. Even let's say I'm doing grocery recommendation in a grocery app. So one person's grocery inventory and transaction it doesn't look anywhere close to another company's, let's say Blinkit and Big Basket. I have to train a different recommender on their data sets. One company's recommender will not work on other company's recommender. I hope that answers the question.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Vivek. This is Balaji here.
Yes, hi Balaji.
Hi. So my question was, as you rightly said, the data part of it is obviously specific to the companies that want to kind of deploy this kind of a product as solution.
Yes.
So in your case, when you have started to build this and starting to evolve this out, are you looking at an approach where the data is from external data sources, or you're trying to keep a data source within your data center, like to manage the data? Because as the data changes and as the behavior changes, your recommendation will appropriately change. So are you relying on external data sources or your own data sources to kind of develop this product and solution that you characterize?
Fair question. So again, a question related to the aspect, can we create a generalized recommender which will service a wide variety of use cases? So let me answer that. So you can see some of our AI apps here. So let me demonstrate one of these to you. For computer vision and NLP, we do have commercial grade data sets to create a pretty strong backbone solutions with the minimal incremental machine learning required. For recommender, the problem is we don't have a very strong data set. Like there is not a data set which encompasses global grocery transaction data, right? So you can imagine Big Basket grocery transaction data, Walmart grocery transaction data, nothing similar. So it is not possible for recommenders yet to create a generalized recommendation API which can service even two customers. For recommendation, it is highly sort of proprietary, unfortunately. So the incremental work for recommender is more. But for computer vision kind of situations, which we do have models like DALI or Stable Diffusion or BERT for NLP, where we have Wikipedia or internet text or internet images, where a very generalized vision or text model has been created. But for recommender, we are yet to see a highly generalized data. And I'm going to show you some specific use cases we are working on. And every time we have to pretty much develop kind of a recommender solution. But that said, we have a portfolio of recommender projects because we have we have more than 500 AI internship projects delivered, which you can find on our YouTube channel as well. And some of them are reflected as APIs and apps here. So let me show you one of these object detector. How in vision and NLP we are able to create a more generalized backbone solutions, and with limited incremental machine learning, we can deploy a solution for a client. But for recommender, we are finding we are having to custom train it quite a bit. But the algorithmic solutions are there, but it has to be adapted to that particular data set. So yeah, so generalization in recommender is still a bit away, if you will. Yeah, I hope that answers that question to some extent.
No, it does. It does. I just had one more follow-up. So in summary, what you're saying is that as AI becomes more and more, inclusive in our lives, are we still at a point where we are only focusing on supervised learning, and unsupervised learning is still far away based on what you just described to me?
No, unsupervised is coming up. If you see the Del-E, if you see the the CLIP algorithm, if you see the new diffusion models which are becoming popular among the machine learning community, then a lot of these are based on semi-supervised or partially supervised learning. So a huge innovation is happening. And I'll tell you, one of the challenges of AI industry is, if you go to LinkedIn or you Google every day, hundreds of new algorithms and papers are published every single day. And keeping up with the technological evolution in this is simply impossible for an individual or even a company. And that is why we have this CellStrat AI Lab community. As a group, we are able to cover a lot of ground. And with help of our massive community of 15,000 AI enthusiasts, we have created this Jumpstart project marketplace, an API marketplace which continues to grow, right? So we'll be able to service a wide variety of AI use cases. Sorry, I don't know. I hope that answers that question which was asked.
Yeah, it does. It does. Thank you. That definitely does. Thank you so much.
So let me just demo one of these, and then I'll show you some recommender use cases also, which we are actually doing for customers. And that will give us a lot of perspective. But let me start with an AI app demo on our platform. So we have a lot of vision and computer vision images and text-based, AI apps already launched as a demo as well as a Jumpstart solution. And we are adapting these to many client situations now as well. So I'm going to randomly pick some image here. Let's say, I'm going to randomly pick some image. Let's say I pick this image where people are sitting in a meeting, if you can notice. And I am going to run an object detection AI API on this. So this is a full stack AI solution with a web client, and it is calling the API on our backend AWS cloud stack. So it has detected multiple common objects: book, cell phone, person, TV, etc. And it's fairly accurate as well, as you can see. So like this, and if you want to integrate this ready-made API into your client solution, you don't want to use our client, we are also publishing a REST API, or API-based architecture, where we are giving sample code to you if you are using JavaScript or Python or React client or any of the client architectures. You can call this REST API or Web Services API, as we call it, using the REST payload protocol. So those of you who are technical probably can relate to it, but those of us who are in business, I will not bother you with this. So this is the app as well as the API. So it's easy to integrate into client solutions. But indeed, this API is trained on 91 object classes. So for example, it will identify person, bicycle, car, motorcycle. So the 91 COCO dataset classes are listed here. Anything outside of that, it will not recognize. So we'll have to do incremental learning. Let's say somebody asks me to identify the type of, let's say cats. So it can know cat, but not types of cats. So I'll have to train a custom, incremental machine learning model with your cats database of various cat breeds. So it can identify specific cats because it just recognizes cat, not breed of cat and so on. So let me also show you one of our NLP solutions. Actually, a very interesting one is this Indian text-to-speech algorithm. So you can see here, this algorithm is very interesting. It's very accurate. Even at scary level, accuracy exists. So this can create audio for Hindi and Manipuri and Bengali and Tamil and Malayalam and Telugu languages and Kannada languages. So let me demo this to you. It's almost scarily accurate. So let me just use this. So it's, if you know Hindi, the sentence is printed here. सामाजिक मुद्दों पर फिल्म बनाने का एक बड़ा नुकसान होता है. आपकी ऑडियंस पहले ही काफी सीमित हो जाती है और ऐसी फिल्में सभी को पसंद आए, ऐसा हो नहीं सकता. द मीनिंग बीन not everybody likes movies on social topics, right? So that's what this Hindi sentence is trying to say. And input sentence is Hindi, so these are the languages I can feed, and it will create a text to speech model. So, and I can even choose male or female gender. So let me try male and make an inference on it. So this is calling our backend API to convert this text to speech. So it can take up to 30 seconds to return the response. And now it has returned the speech file. Let's run this.
सामाजिक मुद्दों पर फिल्म बनाने का एक बड़ा नुकसान होता है, आपकी ऑडियंस पहले ही काफी सीमित रह जाती है. ऐसी फिल्में सभी को पसंद आए, ऐसा हो नहीं सकता.
Okay, so I think I have to check if male and female is being mixed up here. But anyway, it was very accurate. And let's say, I were to pick, let's say there's a popular newspaper called Amal Ujala, which is a very well-read newspaper in north of India, right? So if I pick any Hindi sentences from here, let's see if it can do a good job. So there's a Hindi sentence here, right? Let me just pick it up, and it's a fairly long sentence. So this one can recognize long sentences as well. I put a pretty long sentence, right? And I'm going to make the inference now on this long Hindi sentence and see if it can speak it out correctly and accurately. Slight digression from a recommendation topic. I'm just demoing a jumpstart platform to you for speech, text, and vision solutions, but I'll quickly come back to recommender soon. So this is done now. Let's try to play.
सन से लगभग हर साल ही जारी होता है. इस रिपोर्ट में जितना कम स्कोर होता है, उस देश का प्रदर्शन उतना बेहतर माना जाता है. कोई देश भूख से जुड़े सतत विकास लक्ष्यों को कितना हासिल कर पा रहा है, इसकी निगरानी करने का साधन वैश्विक भूख सूचकांक ग्लोबल हंगर इंडेक्स है, जिसका इस्तेमाल अंतरराष्ट्रीय रैंकिंग के लिए किया जाता है. ठीक किसी देश में भूख के 3 आयामों को देखता है. पहला, देश में भोजन की अपर्याप्त उपलब्धता.
So I think you get the point. So this can convert all these languages text to English, and so such kind of mature models are available now. Earlier this was very difficult to achieve, but now AI has come to a point where fairly sophisticated text to speech, speech to text, synthetic media, and now we are also developing text to video kind of solutions for advertisers and creative industry. So given a text script, it will generate an intuitive video, and like the famous ad by Shah Rukh Khan for Cadbury. So anyway, let me come back to a recommender kind of use case demo. Feel free to stop me with any questions. So let's see a couple of recommender use cases.
I have just one question at this point.
Sure.
The API marketplace that you have shown is really promising. But how is it different from the models that we see on the Hugging Face? There are lots of pre-trained models that is also available for the similar task in Hugging Face.
Sure.
So how do you distinguish between these two?
So indeed, I'm not saying this is very unique per se. There are many such companies which are rendering such marketplaces, and indeed, as you suggested, Hugging Face is one of the most advanced and most extensive API marketplace. So I am not claiming we are better than Hugging Face. In fact, many of our models will be using Hugging Face algorithms such as BERT, right? Or even Hugging Face is deploying. So there is co-optation in this industry. Companies are using each other's algorithms because they are published in open source license. And OpenAI, Hugging Face, DeepMind, these are competitive kind of AI groups, but they use each other's open source algorithms because it has been published in public license. So yes, Hugging Face will be there. You can try Hugging Face, nothing stopping you. But I think the cost factor are quite prohibitive for most SMB companies. Companies like OpenAI, Hugging Face are not affordable, I believe. But obviously, the multinational companies can easily afford those kind of solutions. And so, it's not like only one company has these. There are many companies rendering such marketplaces. And obviously,
I have one follow-up question. Oh,
yeah.
sorry. No. I have another follow-up question on this. So, for example, you have this API marketplace, and you need to further train on these models based on the customer data and the requirement. On those, in those cases, how do you take care of the data security and GDPR? Like in Europe, we have GDPR issues, but in India also there is data security issues. So, how do you take care of third-party customer data while training?
Fair question. So we have two kinds of APIs. This is our public API marketplace trained on publicly available data sets and open source license, right? So these are open APIs based on public models and publicly sourced data sets. Anybody can use them if they serve their purpose. Now we also have a private API dashboard under the deployment models tab. So here you can see I have deployed for my personal account here 5 private models, and I have rendered them as API, and I have even connected that, okay, this particular model, this particular API key can call these 4 out of 5 models. So I'm not connecting this API key with any other. These are my private APIs. So when we do AI solutions for enterprises, we develop private APIs for them, which only they can access and consume, and that authority is not available on our marketplace. So that way we have two kinds of APIs, private API and public API. And private API is obviously the intellectual property of our enterprise customer, and we will not be able to publish it on our marketplace. And all of it is lying on, this is on AWS US East Coast zone. So whatever security and policy support AWS provides, we abide by that. But if AWS US East Coast doesn't provide that GDPR or other kinds of certification, we can't get it. Sorry?
Okay, thanks for answering the question. Thanks.
Yeah, so if you are a company who wants, let's say you contract us to develop your AI solution, we'll launch a private API for you and not really a public API. In fact, let me show you one particular client we are working with, right? So this would be a private API. Okay, this is kind of not in our production right now. So we are developing a private API for a particular use case. Let me go to use cases. It will help answer some of the questions being asked. Let me show you some of our industry, client solutions, which are definitely private APIs not available on our e-commerce marketplace, on our AI marketplace. So this is an automotive e-commerce company, and let me show you the scenario. So the business need is to show relevant banner ads for a car blogging audience, and to drive hot leads to their affiliate partners, which are their affiliate partners are typically Car Dekho, Cars 24 and whatnot, and auto insurance companies like HDFC Auto or Echo Insurance, and then they want to drive hot leads to their affiliate partners to drive higher sales conversion and affiliate commission, right? And so we are developing a recommender solution for them. And this company primarily has 1 million car RC records from Department of Motor Vehicle. So they have 1 million, car registration records, and because somebody is doing what we call as a lemon check. So I can enter a car tag number in India. In US, we call it a car lemon check. And in India, I can just enter the car tag number. It will pull the entire history of that car, the tickets registered, any accidents and whatnot, insurance claims on that car as per the Department of Motor Vehicles in different states. So based on 1 million car registration records, we are developing a recommender solution, and we are recommending top 10 cars which our user is likely to purchase, so that this company can show appropriate banner ads and send more hot traffic to their affiliate partners, the car sales websites like OLX Autos or Car Dekho or Cars 24, etc. Right? And so we are expecting a doubling of sales conversion by showing hot banner ads. Let me show you how the data looks like. So you can see this is anonymized data, so you can't see car the owner name or the car tag number, by the way, because that information is not needed for recommender anyway. I don't care if this car belongs to Mr. Vivek Singhal or what is the car tag number. I want to know about the car attributes given in the registration records, which are on the left side. And on the right side, a recommender is suggesting the top 10 models a particular user is likely to buy, so that they can show banner ads for these top 10 models, and then they can do A/B testing based on price, which car to show, so that the conversion happens when the user is redirected to the affiliate partner. Any questions on this use case? I hope you understood it.
Just one question. How do you anonymize your data? Like it is the job of the customer, or it's from your end that it is?
So that is mutual agreement, right? In this case, the customer sent us, 1 million RC records, and they anonymized it because obviously they did not have permission to, share the personally identifiable information with us, right? We are a AI vendor for them, and this company cannot afford to go into lawsuit situation where they have shared car RC data, because customers came to their site for checking the RC lemon check, and they gave the tag number and the customer name, but they did not explicitly permit them to share that with a software vendor. So they send us anonymized data. We don't need the name and the car tag number. We'll just say for so and so, the customer number, serial number 5374. These are the top 7 cars or top 10 cars recommended. Mostly customers will anonymize the data. When they call our API, they will not send us personally identifiable information that would violate their customer privacy norms. Any other questions on this particular? It's a deep learning based recommender. Okay, so the problem is typical recommendation algorithms like collaborative filtering were not working on this because we don't have user attributes like name, age. We don't have age, gender, right, address, and we do have the RTO information that, okay, it is a Belendur, Bangalore RTO, or Cannot Place, Delhi RTO, or Worli, Mumbai RTO. That much we have, but we don't have their precise address or pin code. We don't have their, their age, gender, their interests. So we can't do user-based collaboration algorithm. We also don't have item attributes. So we just know this guy had a, earlier he has registered a Honda City, let's say, BS5 model from 2015, Honda City, brown color model. But beyond that, we don't have the car condition. I mean, there is something there like, okay, car is average condition, superior condition, or worse condition. But beyond that, we don't have a lot of item attributes as well. So we could not apply traditional, classical machine learning based recommenders like collaborative and item filtering or content filtering. We had to develop a deep learning based neural network, which based on RC record tries to find an approximate softmax prediction of top 10 cars predicted. Those of you who are ML developers can probably understand my last few sentences. Okay, so let me show you another use case for recommenders. So this is another customer we are working with. This is a company in central India, and they are in the business of grocery tech. And they have a mobile app with, I think, 40,000 registered customers. And they have 5,000 SKUs. So the problem is very interesting. And I never thought of it like this. So we all use Big Basket or Milk Basket or what have you, right? Or at least somebody in your family does. And the interesting fact about Big Basket is Big Basket has 22,000 SKUs apparently, or maybe more by now. And the problem is when you are you're scrolling through the Big Basket app, you don't even remember, oh, I need almonds today, or I need cashew nuts, or I need spinach today. So basically, because there are 22,000 SKUs, you forget. And that's why the 10-minute grocery guys came up, okay, oh, you forgot this, you can call in 10 minutes. But the point is, what if you could estimate what user needs today? This is what this company asks us to do. Estimate what user needs today based on their past transaction history. Maybe I order, like dhania powder once a month on a particular, let's say first of the month, I order dhania powder. So such kind of algorithms can detect these patterns and pre-fill the shopping basket. So to help increase the average order volume and prevent user fatigue in scrolling through thousands of product SKUs in the mobile app, they ask us to estimate user need and pre-fill the shopping basket. If you so suddenly I'll be pleasantly surprised as a big basket customer. They have already filled my shopping basket, and amazingly, it knows what I need as of today. So that is what we are doing, and this is likely to drive huge increase in average order volume, because then it would pre-fill my basket, and I will have the task of removing the items rather than adding the items if I don't want that item today. So we expect the frequency of purchases to increase by 50%, and in average order volume is going to increase by maybe 3 times. Because of user fatigue, people just give up and they just say, okay, I got milk, bread, eggs. Okay, those are the main things. But then I forgot I also needed spinach, cauliflower, other kinds of, lentils and whatnot, right? And then we end up doing 10-minute delivery whole day long. So rather than that, you estimate what user is likely to order and pre-fill the basket. And this was the kind of data provided. And, so they sent us transaction data, historical grocery sales data. And you can see on the right side below, we are recommending the products this customer ID is likely to check out today. So every day this list can change per customer, of course. So if you see, let's say this customer probably needs chana dal and dhania and moong and all these grocery items which we are familiar with, and kali mirch and black pepper and whatever, spinach. So any questions on this use case? So this is very interesting, and I am not working with Big Basket. This is a competitor of Big Basket in central India. It's a smaller company though, and I am assuming Big Basket, though some of you may work for these kind of organizations, are also deploying such algorithms, where they are trying to estimate user demand before user choosing the products from a long list of SKUs. But the business impact is incredible, right? You could increase their sales per customer average order value by 200%, basically tripling their sales in effect, right? So the impact on business is remarkable. That's why I titled today's webinar, how to use recommenders to increase your sales by 100 to 200%. And that is just a conservative figure. You could increase it maybe 300-400% also, based on the context, the use case, and the quality of data, right? And so many factors can help us increase sales by multitude. So a simple concept of recommender can really drive sales. And that is why I'm telling you, when we are talking to 50 to 60 customers, enterprise customers at the moment, I can attest to this fact that more than 35 to 40% inquiries are on recommenders. So initially, we used to do a lot of computer vision and NLP and sophisticated AI, reinforcement learning. But, I'll tell you something about business use cases. Businesses don't care about reinforcement learning or sophisticated computer vision, text processing models, right? Business cares about driving sales, operational effectiveness, lower cost, increased sales, right? And automation, right? So that's what business cares about. Their metrics are totally different than us machine learning scientists. They're not worried about the latest computer vision model, which can increase, better computer vision accuracy. They want to drive sales or reduce costs. So a recommender is one of the low-hanging fruit. And that is the reason we see more of these inquiries compared to other kind of solutions. We do have customers in recommender and text space also, but 30 to 40% of our customers are asking for recommender solutions. And that is the reason we picked up our first business AI workshop, which is this one today, on this topic, rather than our traditionally favorite topics of vision and text. Questions, comments, or any other remarks?
I have just one suggestion or request, if I may.
Yeah.
That I can see that there is a huge gap between the business and the data science. So we understand deep learning, machine learning model, but the business acumen, how can sales can be increased, or how can we productize these algorithms or come up with those solutions is a gap, I think, especially when it comes to
that is exactly what we are trying to solve. We are trying to democratize AI for the industry, right? That is the problem we have started to solve this year. Until last year, we were focused on AI research, training people in AI developer tools platform. But we realize that there's a lot of research happening. There are hundreds of papers published every day. Nothing ever reaches production. The amount of AI deployment around the world is like a small fraction compared to the amount of AI research. So that is the precise problem we are attempting to solve by a multitude of techniques. So we are developing jumpstart models in low-hanging fruit areas like recommender solutions and synthetic media, like audio, video creation, and all that. And we are starting this series of workshops. If you check our, blogging content, we are doing a lot of educational content, on our Medium blog now, on to groom the industry or educate the industry on how they can use AI. So AI in synthetic media, AI in finance, AI in events. So we are trying to create very slick content to help educate our industry friends and bridge this massive gap which exists from the AI research industry to the actual enterprise.
Well said. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
So Vivek, on this, the text-to-speech, what you shared that time from Hindi to English.
Yes.
Does it support the foreign language, like for example Arabic? You have any?
So currently this supports the following languages. This is TTS Indian, so Indian regional languages, Hindi, Bengali. But yes, Arabic and other languages it can be developed. So this is just a demo of what is possible. By the way, this is commercial grade solution. It is ready to be deployed at an enterprise site, this evening, because I just demoed it. It's very accurate. So similarly, we can launch, Arabic, European, other languages, but we haven't deployed a demo for it. But definitely we can launch it if you have a requirement.
Okay. Thank you.
Vivek, sorry for interrupting.
No problem.
One thing which I want to know is that, okay, text-to-speech is fine. It is able to read the Hindi text to Hindi. That's fine. Now, suppose, let me say there is a wonderful book, a reference book, which is in English language. Okay. Now, government is focusing a lot on local languages. They are even, I think, launched MBBS in some, I think, Hindi language recently.
Yes.
Okay. Now, a reference book that is in English language text, if a student wants it to be read in his local language, is there any such API which you have built as on that we input the ebook and we get the speech in a different language?
So this problem is already solved actually, and we can definitely launch it as an API on our platform. So Google Translate is fairly decent. I'm not saying it's world class for Indian native languages, but decent. Right, so Google Translate and AWS Translate, already good solutions exist to address the language translation use case, and both of these, we can deploy as an API for any enterprise customer. So they do pretty decent job with Indian regional languages, the major ones at least. But I'm not saying they are world class, but yes, or perfect. But there is a good language translation solutions available already from likes of Amazon, Google. I asked my team to give me a custom, Indian language translator from English to Hindi, English to other regional languages. But they told me that replicating the sophistication of AWS Translate and Google Translate is difficult because these companies have trained, even the Indian language models on massive server farms and cloud farms. And we don't have the kind of data corpus or the access to the massive cloud web farm where we can train a very, very commercial grade English to Hindi model. So I suggest we stick to the best in class models, AWS Translate or Google Translate, which are very hard to beat by a small company like us as of today. Maybe in future we can find a way of developing better than what they offer. And I'm admitting Google Translate, Amazon Translate are not perfect for language translation, but they are pretty good. Like English to European languages, they are better. English to Hindi or other Indian languages is still some more improvement is needed even in these commercial grade system. So we can definitely launch a decent API, if not the perfect API, if you will. I hope that answers the question.
No, translate means what I mean is that, let me say, when there is an English language text, they translate it into different languages. Okay, that is what I think Amazon Translate does or Google Translate does.
Okay.
What I am saying is that, now let me say my mother is there, she doesn't know English, okay, but I want her to read a good English book, which I think it will be very interesting for her. So I will explain to her in Telugu, but the book is in English language. So I want to know if there is any such API which plays my role, that I input an ebook in English language and it reads her in Telugu, not word-to-word translation.
I got it. I got it. So, I mean, it's nothing at all. So the answer is very simple. We'll just convert it to Telugu, the book itself, then we'll speak it out.
Exactly. So do you have that type of API, whether it is Google or even Amazon?
So give me the name of a Telugu newspaper, sir.
Okay, Enadu.
Okay. So let me pick up a Telugu sentence and translate it. I'll have to pick up because I don't know the language, but I'll just pick up some text and you can attest to it if it is accurate. Right. So I'm going to pick up this Telugu sentence here and going to put there. I don't know, it's not letting me copy. So it has entry web scraping technology deployed. Let me try to pick up this sentence. No, it's not. So there is anti-web scraping, so I can't scrape this. But you can try it on your own on our portal, and it's not really difficult at all. So it will speak out Telugu to you pretty much. It will. So let's say I pick up this sentence, and then I just paste it here, and then I have chosen the language Telugu, and I'm going to make an inference. And you can attest to it if it speaks pretty accurately. And my team has tested it with their regional language friends, and they said all of the languages are coming very accurate.
Hyderabad, Pan India star Prabhas natistonna biggest action entertainer Salar.
So, sir, you can tell me if it was accurate or not.
Yeah, it's accurate.
Okay. So all we have to do is take the English ebook, translate to Telugu using the language. So it's a two-step process. First, we'll translate the English to Telugu, and then we'll speak it out. Yeah.
Yeah. We have to give a try for it.
Yes. So definitely very much doable. It's already mostly perfected here, right? And all I have to do is just call Google Amazon Translate to translate, then speak it out using this technique. So there are two steps. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sure. Pleasure. Any other questions? So we have discussed, two recommender use cases. Now, so I hope you got an idea of recommendation. And let's say you were to go to Amazon, website, or even any e-commerce website. So, or the news reading website, they are also recommending products and news articles to you, right? So here they are recommending, let's say I search for iPhone 13. So if I go to iPhone 13, then it will show me other products also I am likely to purchase, right? Or similar products which similar customers have got. So it's using recommender solutions pretty much. So a variety of recommender techniques are at play when it does that, right? So below, I think it shows related products or what you are likely to check out. So buy in other parts of the store. So based on because I am logged into my Amazon account, maybe that's why it's trying to show some of these products. And these you can see are household products because I don't buy much, but my family uses my Amazon account all the time. And you can see some of the household products are displayed here because my family is the one using so curtains and, and salon and beauty products and whatnot, right? So this is what my family keeps buying. And that is why it is recommending based on my purchase history. And then my wife was looking for maybe Diwali lights or something, and you'll see, right? So based on that is using variety of recommendation techniques. And if you go to, let's say, Netflix, same thing. So if you go to Netflix, they are basically, if I log in, if you don't log in, you see the problem is it doesn't know what to show you, right? So it will ask for your email or login. So first thing it asks you sign in, so it can kind of show you the personalized movies you are likely to purchase, right, and so on. Even when you are going to Netflix on your TV, because you are logged in, it tries to suggest movies to you which you are likely to watch. Okay, so that was some discussion about recommenders. Now let's continue with some more use cases. So obviously there are other things in computer vision, such as optical character recognition. So using AI-based algorithms, you can. So we have a customer where they have 2,000 invoices, and it's a medical transcription company, and they asked us to use OCR, optical character recognition, AI-based OCR. In the old days, we had other OCR algorithms to read a printed text in an image, but now we have AI-based OCR, and that can really improve the accuracy. You can see this is a medical transcription invoice. Or in this case, it's showing a grocery invoice, but really this customer was about medical invoices, and we are extracting the text out of it from a scanned invoice, because this information is needed for business analytics or to provide business intelligence to the suppliers and manufacturers and distributor, so they know what is selling in the stores more. And this is an InsurTech use case. They sent us damaged spectacles. So I did not know this before. Nowadays, spectacles also go through an insurance process, because spectacles have become very expensive, and foreign brands are there. And you can insure your spectacles at point of purchase. Let's say in Titan Eyewear, or Clear Eyes, or in Lenskart, or what have you. And then you can buy the insurance on the spot. And then if it breaks, any damage happens, you can claim an insurance. And huge cost savings can be achieved by computer vision based insurance assessment rather than human insurance underwriter. So based on these broken spectacle photos in a store, we can detect if it's a lens damage, hinge damage, temple damage, frame damage, and such damages, right? And then we can also read the serial number on this particular, and then I can feed this information to the order management team. Okay, the claim is on this, and this is what is needed, instead of a human intervention in checking the details of that broken spectacles. So this is again a computer vision use case we are developing for a client. This solution is about to go live as well. Okay, so those were some of the use cases we have discussed, and not only recommender but in computer vision as well. So before I move forward, open to any questions now. Right, so it looks simple, but it takes a lot of work to in terms of our jumpstart marketplace and our historical work we have done. But we are able to create simple solutions for clients because we have a lot of jumpstart capability, and that is what we call ourselves a low-code, no-code AI platform for enterprises. A slight pivot from our historical profile of being a kind of a training company and a developer tools platform and a community, because the biggest gap we have found is where industry is struggling to launch AI, right? That is where the gap is, and that is a gap we are seeking to fulfill now. Any questions or comments? So let me see from my other deck if I want to discuss any other special situations around recommenders. So otherwise, I'm mostly done for the session today. It was a brief session. So let's say you have a cold start situation. So I'm a new customer on Netflix, or I'm a new customer on Amazon. At least I'm not logged in. So how do you show good recommendations which customer is likely to consume? So you basically use aggregate opinions, right? Or you use current trends. Okay, current trend is around iPhone 14 and 13, right? And then the big billion day sale by Flipkart and whatnot. Or you use editors pick or popularity of products. You can also do association based recommenders. Okay, if it is a hot day, then ice cream is likely to sell more, and so on, right? So I'm just sort of quickly going through these slides. And if you buy a sandwich and cookies, you're typically likely to buy cold drinks. There was a very interesting use case. If you see the first line, which in America it happened that a very strange behavior was seen, that beers and diapers sell together. It was a very strange correlation. People who drink beer or who buy a diaper all like to buy the other items. So maybe the analysis was that these are young shoppers who are buying diapers for their kids, newborns, and then they also tend to buy beer at the same time. Particularly young men, while they are sent to buy diapers by their wives, they also tend to get beer at the same time. Strange correlation, but yes, it was noticed. So this is an association rule, which comes under the category of algorithms called market basket analysis. When I was in US, I used to visit this Walmart store a lot, and Costco, if you have been there, wholesale pricing at Costco. So in Walmart, they have done a lot of research on product positioning. So what they do, they keep the milk and the eggs, which is the freezer section, in the back of a massive Walmart store. If you just want a can of milk, right, you have to walk through the entire store to reach the back freezer sections to fetch a can of milk and check it out. The reason being, they want to drive impulse shopping. As you're walking through those retail aisles, you're likely to discover, oh, I need this. To increase the order size, they're keeping the daily essentials in the back of the store and forcing you to walk through the store. And by the way, in store, they typically don't give you a chair to rest. So you're forced to roam around, and basically, so impulse shopping is being driven. So that is also a recommendation technique. And now with AI-based cameras, we are doing emotion detection. So there are use cases where we can detect user emotion, and you can do salesperson intervention in a store based on the emotion of the customer about a product, right? So if you are logged in, you can drive personal recommendations, right? So let's say if I am buying shirts, then maybe I need a set with a pair of trousers, right, and so on. So there are a lot of aspects to it. I'm not going to discuss each and every detail. It's a pretty extensive. Algorithmically, there are a lot of things which are going on, but we'll keep it at a business level and try to discuss business benefits of such techniques, and not get into algorithmic discussion, because that's not the focus in this webinar today. Okay, so that brings me to the conclusion of the topic today, and open to any final questions. If you don't mind, please put your name and phone number in the chat so we have your attendance recorded, and if needed, we can have an interaction offline if needed. You can note my number. This is also my WhatsApp number. Happy to discuss with you if you want to discuss, just brainstorm, or have any enterprise need or any other reason whatsoever.
Do you have any suggestions or a book or a course which can help to develop business acumen of the data science side? Like, data science, but coming up with the solutions for current market problems, or from any domain for that matter.
Fair enough.
How can we bridge that gap?
So we have recently launched because historically we have been an AI training company, but primarily for technical professionals. So we have deep tech courses in machine learning, deep learning, hands-on project-oriented courses. We also have a CellStrat Hub certified architect program similar to AWS certification. But recently we have also launched a business, AI certification program. So the idea is you'll be working in our business strategy team if you join this program. And by helping us in, making this content and working with our enterprise project. So it's a business internship program. We don't have a course per se, but we do have a business internship program where you'll be helping us. If you enroll in that, we'll ask you to work in our enterprise product strategy, enterprise discussion strategy, and also help us develop some of this content, right? So you can see the content which I'm presenting to you here. So this is the content we'll be asking you to develop. In the process, you'll develop substantial insight about this whole thing. You'll be asked to develop some blocks for us, right? So by a combination of content development and working with our enterprise AI team, we'll train you about business of AI. But we, in terms of course, we don't have a course yet, but we will be doing series of such webinars, like starting today. With every month or every other month, we'll be presenting an AI for business webinar. So hopefully that will, but that will be open to public, I suppose, so no enrollment required. And you can educate yourself by attending our webinar series in this space. Our next one, we are planning to run a panel discussion, hopefully, with some industry leaders, AI in social commerce kind of topic. So end of November, we are planning to run an online panel with a couple of industry thought leaders. And the topic will be AI in social and retail commerce. And after that, we'll also be presenting a webinar on how to use AI for generating synthetic media, such as generating audio and video advertising from text scripts. So that again will be a business of AI workshop like the one today. So you are welcome to explore about our business of AI internship program, but we don't have a specific course yet. But through our internship, you will end up developing an expertise in this space from a business perspective. Any other questions, comments? Okay, so I appreciate all of your time and thank you for joining us this Sunday, right in middle of the festival month. And I hope you have a good festival month or whatever plans you have. And happy Diwali to one and all. And we'll see you in coming weeks on our next session. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, sir.